Everyone, welcome back. Sorry for my significantly delayed start. I had technical difficulties earlier, and then apparently, when I thought I had finally gotten my stream up and running, I hadn't. And so I've been talking to myself for the last little bit, which has been very, very exciting. Um, Not a ton of announcements today, but one thing to mention is last time I teased out that I was doing an interview with Mads Torgensen, the lead designer on the C Sharp team. That video is coming out publicly this weekend. But if you want to take it and check it out a little bit early, if you join the wrong hand there, if you join the Discord under the streaming channel, you will find a link to it. So it is there if you want to check it out, or if you are watching this and it is past February 1st, 2026, it's live on my YouTube, which the link will come up there, or you can probably divine the right link to go and find it. Or if you're watching on YouTube, go check it out. So that should be up in there. Tonight, my plan is to finish off the XAML test stuff that we had been working on last time. We had kind of ended with fighting with some of the source generators because we updated to net 10, and net 10 brought in some extra warnings and similar for incremental generators for people who hadn't converted. I hadn't converted yet. I have warnings as errors on. It's now time to deal with the problem. So working through those things, and I had done a little work during the week just getting the unit test generator up and running. So there's multiple source generators in XAML test. One of them, I generate unit tests for all of the WPF control types just to make sure I've covered everything. And that is where our story begins of where this is going to be. So let me switch over here. Okay, so this is where we are at. And if I look at my test explorer itself, this guy here, there are a sizable number of tests. And I realized something that I had messed up on is the previous version. So I've got two checkouts. I got one that's sitting back on my master branch. And if I look at the test explorer here, I will note that my generated test, there's only 555 of them. But if I check out the generated test here, there's 619 of them. And after a little bit of digging, what I discovered was that a lot of these tests were because I was actually now properly testing everything, whereas before I wasn't. So, for example, this one has framework element generated extension tests. Great. The problem is this one doesn't. It's just not there. And so those tests are now failing and properly failing because I generated extension methods that I never had tests over, so I didn't realize those extension methods weren't working. So there's a handful of them in here to go through and address, and one of them is the get parent call. So get parent typically will return back a dependency object. And so an iVisual element of dependency object, which is what this get parent is going to return. And right now we are failing because it's not doing a conversion properly. So that is the current one to fix, because there are a handful of test failures, but I think a lot of these are coming from me just not having tested these methods before and those not working. So I'm slightly motivated to get these things to work. I could always add them to an exclusion list, but this one is one that should really work, because with XAML test, when you get back something that's a dependency object, what it's actually expected to do instead is return back one of these iVisual elements. So the iVisual element isn't the actual dependency object itself, because it's not serializable, but what it is it is effectively a reference or a pointer to that real element. So when you act on the visual element itself, it just marshals all of its calls back across to the hosted WPF app where the element actually lives, and then acts on that directly, which is great. The problem that we run into here is get parent itself. Dang it, stop it. Get parent calls into get property, and it's passing a generic parameter of iVisual element of dependency object, which is good, but it's not quite what we are going for. Because when we get down to this get as down here, which is what I was diving into, which is actually over here, we run into this problem where it's wanting to do this type check and say, oh, well, if element is the typed element that we're after, let's just go ahead and return it. Which is fine, except for element will not be of the type that we've asked for. Because in this case, element is going to be an iVisual element of listbox, and we've asked for an iVisual element of dependency object, which doesn't quite work. So that's kind of frustrating, and I don't like it. I was realizing something I should test here. So, because this guy here, I kind of just want to make, stop moving around. I kind of want to just do this call back over in my test class so that this guy can be validated, and I can change this. I can change this generic type at will. Let's see, var foo gets, because my theory is if I change this to listbox, it works. That is my working theory. So I want to validate that real quick and make sure that I do in fact get all the way down, because I suspect my conversion logic needs to be expanded, because visual element does have an as method that lets you convert it to different visual element types, which is great, very good, but it's not perfect. So we're working on it. Yeah. So, oh, okay, that doesn't count because I used var and didn't realize that I missed my await. Try it again. Like that doesn't look like what I expect. Yeah, so my apologies for the late start. Between my technical difficulties and then my stupidity of not clicking the right button. Okay, so foo comes through, we get this here. And so the issue is that get parent, when you pass in iVisual element of listbox, it works, but when you pass in iVisual element of dependency object, it doesn't. Actually, let me just confirm that again. Because that is exactly what this guy does. All right? Yes. So I want to just, because now this guy should fail with the same cannot convert string to blah, 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 blah. And the only reason it's trying to convert to string is because it's falling back to its serialization logic, because it doesn't realize that the if condition at the beginning of this was supposed to have passed. It is interesting to me that my visual element here because it is an iVisual element. Oh, it's just so close. It's so close. Yeah, I feel like I need a much more expanded logic here, and I think what I want is expanded logic very similar to the as logic that I have inside of visual element itself. And I'd like to, because this guy here has a convert method, which is what this one here calls, which is great because that's ultimately kind of what I am after. Just flatten this up. I just want to make sure I've got this, because visual element of T implements visual element and visual element of T. I think this is the guy that has the as on it. Yeah. So the non-generic has the as. The problem is the as here wants to be of T element. And I need something not quite that. Not quite that. Because I've got that logic already over here, I think I want to leverage this same thing. Because when does element get set? Let me look over here on the server side of the fence because I think if we go here, because there's a set value method, property result. So it only sets the element property when the value is a dependency object. So I am very much inclined. I'm very inclined to do something clever here. Where if the T, so we're just gonna pseudocode this for a second. So if element is not null and T is I visual element, right? Like I want something of that nature. Like I can't do this because this is not how you do a type check. But this is kind of what I want to end up doing. If that is the case, what I would like to do is element as T visual element. Right? Like I want where T visual element, like I want to be able to leverage that same as logic, but I'm going to need to pull that sucker out. So it's okay. So let's, if that's the logic I want, so this is going to end up needing to be, let's see, type of T is assignable to, no, is assignable to type of visual element. So if we can assign the type of T to a visual element, and element is not null, we know we got a dependency. So we know we got a dependency object. So I don't. Do I want this down here? I mean, it's probably worth keeping that as a quick exit for the cases where it's done, but then I think we need this fallback. Because if we ask for it of the right type, great, fine, it just works. But if it's not of the type we expect, we need to effectively downcast it. So if that's the case there, I almost want an as that. So we know that T won't be the non-generic visual element. And actually, I think what we actually want is visual element. Oh, so I actually need to do something more clever here. Because I need type of T is var generic type. And okay, so we need to make this a lot more robust. Generic type dot is generic type definition, right? Represents from which other generic types can be constructed. No, I always get these confused. In this case, generic type. And generic type, generic, what is it? No, it is. Where's the generic? Okay, why am I botching this? Because I want to get the open generic and then pull the parameter out. Yeah. Optional custom modifiers, blah, blah, blah. So generic type generic parameter. Just do this. I want to just grab it here, and then we're going to go here, and we're going to just, we're going to send it. Get rid of that. Suppose we can actually probably get rid of that too. There we go. So F11. So generic type, right? Generic type is true. And then what I want is the generic type arguments. Oh boy. Code with Tafadazawa. Hopefully I'm not butchering that too much. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. We are struggling a little bit with my XAML test library, trying to figure out how I can make my conversion logic not suck. Past me made some horrendous mistakes, and so current me is trying to correct them. So there's the generic type, and really, I think what I want to do is, because I want to check if the generic type definition of this, because the element knows its type here. And so because this element knows its type, what I kind of want to do is just pull this type off. Actually, I don't know if I have access to that directly. I don't. I don't have access to that. But I guess as if I can pull the generic, so I just want to pull the generic arg off of here. Because I just want to pull the generic arg off of T. So I really want to just say if this generic type is, so where do I find my generic, why am I blanking on how to do this? And generic type, get generic type definition. That's why it's a method. No, that's why I'm being an idiot. And get generic type definition, type of visual element of open generic. So if we get through all of there, then var element type is going to be generic type, generic type arguments sub 0. We can make a sweeping assumption that there's exactly one because we compared it against an open generic of verity 1. We have this, and then what I kind of want to do then is just return element as element type. I think that's what I want right there. As T. Because the problem is I can't do, yeah, because I think I then have to go and implement this as, because the as right now wants to return a visual element of T element, and in my case, my T includes visual element. So I think this is what I need here. I'm wondering if this should just be a straight return or if this should be a null conditional check. Can't decide. But for now, let's go and actually implement the as, because that's functionally what we're going to end up needing is an as here. So we need to expand this so that there is a non-generic overload to convert the element to a typed element. So I think what's going to end up needing to happen here is this is going to have to be, let's see, type, element type, and then we need to do, let's see, to a param element type, the type to convert to. This must be a derived type of, let's see, deref dependency object. And so we'll do something of that nature. Hey, Bruce. No, I appreciate the kind words. Off to work, happy coding. Thank you for dropping in. And yeah, I can appreciate that my stream time is really obnoxious for a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's based largely around my family schedule after my kids have gone to bed. And so I realize I am targeting English-speaking developers. And unfortunately, I stream in an hour when most English-speaking developers are either working or sleeping. It's very inconvenient for my stream numbers, but when you do it for fun, it's okay. Okay, so now I want visual element to have that as function that I can use. Where is there? There. So I need my as function to exist, and then I can implement it non-generically all the way through. Where did my as function go? Am I blind or stupid? There it is. Okay, so public I visual element as, let's see, type, element type, and we're off to the races. Okay, so we would like this thing to leverage some of the same convert logic that we have here. Because ultimately, this is the I need to pull some of this out into a non-generic version. Let's go here, and we're just going to duplicate it for the moment. Type, target type. Let's see. Visual element. We'll do that. We get rid of that because that's not a thing anymore. We get rid of that because that's not a thing anymore. And we get rid of that because that's not a thing anymore. And then we bring this guy up here and we do return convert type of the visual element. And then we'd put in the hard cast of T visual element. And then all of this goes away. Now we've got shared code between the two generic and non-generic overloads. I guess they're not really overloads, but work with me here. And so this then just becomes a lambda-based one where we go convert, and then we just pass element type. And that goes like that. That now works. Property now leverages it. And I can't do it as T. So I have to hardcast T. Because it's going to return what I expect or otherwise. Because we know in this case T is an iVisual element of T, and we know this guy is going to return me a visual element. Okay. I think that works. Proof is in the pudding. Let's try this again. Yeah, I'm from Europe and don't speak English very well. I'm a hobbyist dev, but I've learned a lot from you about WPF. Need to go. Thanks a lot. No problem, Bruce. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate it. I do love my my WPF. I was even discussing it with a colleague earlier today of somewhat lamenting that it feels like WPF is a dying skill set. Because it still feels very viable. Okay, so we go there. Element type in this case should be dependency object. Great. We go in here. We go in here. We come in here. Ooh, this guy. Izzy, Merry Christmas, and thank you for your ping. I do completely apologize. It has been I had technical difficulties with my PC, and then in my haste, I apparently failed to click the start streaming button, which is not a great way to start your stream. Pretty bad way to start your stream, in fact. Uh, Sent it just as I was getting in the car. Well, I appreciate it because I don't know how long I would have gone because I looked down. I'm like, oh, I've got a new message. Oh, look, yeah, that was kind of the way that went. So not my finest moment. We'll put it that way. Let's see here. So this guy here actually is somewhat problematic because he wants to do. So he's actually trying to pull the element type out, and this thing already has the element type. So I need to separate this a little bit because this isn't quite the same. So I actually want to move more of this back up than what I originally thought. Let's see here. So this is type, target type gets type of the visual element. Assume the rest of the stream will push to YouTube. I actually kind of just started over. It ended up working well for me because I didn't hit start streaming. I was also not recording either because I have those two things linked. So when I don't hit the start streaming button, I also don't get the recording either. So I kind of just backed up and started from where I had left off, which is somewhat disappointing. But on the note of YouTube, if anybody is interested, I did do an interview with Mads Torgensen, the lead designer of the C# team. That video comes out on my YouTube this weekend. But if you want early access to it, there is a link on my Discord under the events channel. So you can go and check it out early if you want to go grab it. So it is out there. It was awesome. I had a great time talking with Mads. Very kind of him to be willing to sit down with me, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Okay, so this guy, this is actually not target type. This is actually element type here. So I don't need this. I don't need this. I just need this. That's all I want. A short video rewatch then will give me a chance to catch up on. Good. Yes. It will be well, I hope it's going to be a little bit shorter. I'm hoping to go through and fix this. The short version is I got the between last stream and this stream, I got the unit test generator up and running. But then realized that I had on my master branch, I was not actually testing all the methods. And so once I realized that my new version actually was testing all the methods and some of them were failing, I'm like, well, crap, now I can't let that go now that I know it. So this needs to throw. So now we're actually trying to fix them all. Throw new invalid operation exception. And then could not convert element to let's do this. Not convert element to target element type. And then I want to do like this, and then I want to do element type dot full name. Something of that nature. That'll deal with that. This guy here, I just want to return convert, but I want to pass in the element type here. That goes there, and now I'm trying to avoid having too much duplication. And then this just needs to be cast a T visual element. There, that goes like that. Okay, so now that gets me to there. Back to my test. Rerun the test. Because now it should actually drop in properly. And do the needful, come in here, get generic arguments, pulls out the element type. I wonder if I should actually make... I'm wondering if I should actually try to make these things more aligned so these are actually visual element type. That might be better. We'll get this working first. So this guy goes here. And then this thing goes there, goes there, goes there, returns, 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 returns. And now I have a visual element. Okay, so that works. It works. But it works in a bad way. And so I think I want to... I'm a little unhappy that there's this disjoint between this convert and this convert method. Hey, society dog. Time here, 7:29. Hope you are well. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, mostly well, aside from the fact that I have been having PC problems. My motherboard is, I think, giving me problems. I keep getting weird hangs when it goes to reboot, where it doesn't even finish posting, and I get no output as to what is wrong. I've tried turning on diagnostics, and once I got an error that indicate there was a problem with the TPM chip, but I haven't been able to reproduce that, and it's scaring me that my motherboard is threatening me. It is about what disk do you have? Good question. It's an M2. Where is it? Because I went as far as flashing my BIOS this morning, because you know it's always a good day when you're flashing your BIOS. I was scared I was going to end up canceling, and then instead I just failed to hit the start stream button. Where's my iOS specs? Come on, open system information. Because I don't believe it's so. I can't say for certain that it's not my disk, but it appears to be. That doesn't tell me the actual information. So here's this. But I don't think this is actually, I mean, there's your model numbers. But I don't know that actually gives me a lot to work with. With the controller and Windows. Yeah, and that's part of why I went out on my motherboard and went hunting for updated BIOS ones. And what got my attention is there was a BIOS update for my motherboard this month. And there was a comment in the release notes about the TPM chip for particular games. And that got me hopeful that might fix my problem. Hope there were not BitLocker problems. No, but I will say the motherboard firmware update did strongly recommend backing up your BitLocker keys before doing it, which I promptly did. Which isn't a big deal. I keep them saved off in a vault, which is the proper place to keep them. But yeah, it was the fact that it keeps having trouble posting on boot is scaring me. And so it is, I think I've had this for 8 years now. Like it is a little bit off. Because it's an MSI B350 Tomahawk, I believe is the motherboard. Let's see. Some sorted itself in the later updates, but some disks need firmware to fix it. They have not announced it widely. Because no one wants to take the blame. Oh. Okay. That is good to know. I will go and hunt I will go and hunt and see if there's something extra for my M2 then. Because I have not tried that. It's just incredibly frustrating because was it a day or two ago, I spent 2 hours in various reboot loops until all of a sudden it just worked. And I have no idea what I did differently. I pressed the reboot button with more feeling that second time around, I guess, or something of that nature. And it frustrated me to no end. Let's see, visual element type. But that is good to know. Been trudging with my, I think that's partner PC for 6 months because of this, and it solved itself. But spent a lot of time looking into it. Yes, I I feel like that's the state that I am in. Is I have been fighting with this. It's like I don't really want to build a new PC right now. I've got other stuff I'd rather be doing, but not having a PC working is going to inhibit my ability to do the other stuff. So it may get thrust upon me whether I want it to be or not. Okay, so I want to change this guy up. Because rather than doing this get generic type arguments, if this thing is here, I think what I want to do is just pass this in and let the code on the inside deal with pulling it out. Did you sneeze or cough in the right direction with the wind blowing? Pretty sure that's how most of the build failures at work magically start working. I don't know that I was sneezing, but I was definitely coughing out angry sounds. It was definitely that. I can assure you that that was the case. Okay, I think I like doing this better. That way there's at least a little bit of symmetry between these two things in terms of what they're doing. And then this guy here, this comes in here, and this comes in here, and then this goes up here, and then this goes away, and then I don't need this stuff here. We're gonna rename this guy to here. Var. Well, I guess let's do this. Visual element type. This thing here, because I think that makes it obvious what the checks are for here. And then this exception cannot convert visual element of T. I don't know that this is actually the message that I want. But I mean, this guy knows what he is. Cannot convert object to visual element. So make generic type. Well, actually, this is now visual element type, so we can actually just do that. And then that goes like that. That goes like that. And then this guy doesn't need to do anything fancy. We can just do this return statement here. And then all of this goes away. That makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. This becomes type of T visual element. There we go. Okay, so now if I run you should pass is the goal. And then we'll go see what else is broken. Because some of these are potentially just properties with return types that aren't valid for us to return. And so it's, okay, there's that. Okay, that handles that. Next failure. Show me more failures. Get parent. Get allow drop returns value. Really? What was this one? Okay, so let's find this one. I think that's UI element has allow drop if I remember right. Let's see. Get allow drop returns value. There she is. Okay, let's see what your problem is. Well, good news, it reproduces. That's always a nice first step. Um, let's see. Failed to find child element with name. So it is failing. What is this test doing exactly? Get element with test UI element. Is UI element non-abstract? Is that really true? That surprises me. I thought you were abstract. Can I really in my XAML just do? Oh, I totally straight up can. That seems wrong. That seems very, very wrong. So I think this is probably a case where we just want to be able to override this. I think that's what I want. I'm trying to decide how to go about doing this because the simplest thing is a partial, but I almost want a partial. Yeah. I hope you get it sorted. So frustrating to have a half random bug with no error dump file. I can recomment blue screen x64 old app, but just works very well looking up dump files and various problems. Yeah. Yeah, believe me, it is. It's caused me no end of frustration recently. And it because it happened right after I recorded my interview with Mads, like the first time, well, I shouldn't say the first time, because it happened once like a month ago. And then when it came back up and was working, I was like, that's weird. And then it happened again multiple times this week, which is what's making me somewhat think that something's on its way out and why I'm somewhat thinking motherboard, but I don't know that for a fact. Because then my problem is do I just upgrade effectively all my components, right? Motherboard, CPU, RAM, and bring all of the stuff up to something a little newer. Because I am running a slightly older setup. It's an AM4 socket. I could upgrade to the latest sockets, newer CPU. I don't have bad specs. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, but it's DDR4, not DDR5. Like, well, I could just buy a new motherboard with the old socket. Um, yeah, yes, and now 1 month with nothing, and then a series again is what her PC did. Yeah, it's so frustrating, so incredibly frustrating. Okay, so yeah, and that's why it's one of those. It's like, do I upgrade the rest of my components to go with it? That way I can just rev everything forward and be something new and latest and feel warm and fuzzy about it. Maybe, maybe that's a good idea. It's a tough call because I could also get a new motherboard and then I replaced a PSU. Yeah, well, and that's the other thing is like my power supply I think is 650 watts, which isn't like it's not bad, but it's not huge by any means. So it's like, well, if I upgrade the motherboard, maybe the PSU should go with it. It's like, I'm very quickly going to be into a brand new PC very quickly. It's like, and like, especially with RAM prices spiking, like I don't really want to be in the market for one of those. Let's see. She had an Asus 1000 watt with a 10-year warranty. Dang. See, and that's kind of where I would be leaning potentially is jumping up to 1,000 just to make sure I've got more than enough. Because like my 650 was rated to cover everything. The only thing I've upgraded since I first built it was my graphics card. But I was still, I think, well within because like PC Part Builder, they give you your estimates of what you need for power, and I was still within spec for what it should have been able to handle. It was like, okay, I've got a little bit of a ceiling, I should be fine. But I don't know, maybe it could be the PSU. It's like I get into the midst of doing this, I may end up just building a whole brand new computer by the end of it. Just very, very exciting. Okay. So I suspect my problem here is with the, I'm willing to bet all of the UI element ones fail because I don't, my XAML test relies on being able to find elements in the visual tree, and the visual tree is framework element based, and I don't think any of these are going to find. So I kind of suspect all of these will just fail out. I'm tempted, I'm trying to decide, I think what I want, because I like these tests going against the extension methods, but I think I just need to change this up so that it actually uses framework element instead of UI element. So I need to leave myself a hook to override the content. And I don't quite know the best way to do it. I would start with the firmware and the PSU before a new PC because of current prices. Yeah, I can agree with that. Because I was briefly looking at stuff and I'm like, holy cow! Because this machine when I first bought it, I paid less than $500. Now, admittedly, it was I bought it from a private party who, for fun, he builds PCs for people and sells them. But nice guy, trusted him. Like he had a good setup, did a great job. Like I've been very happy with it. But now with the cost of prices and stuff, like I should potentially follow up with him. But I think he's stopped building them for fun in his spare time because before he could, pick stuff up on sell, put together a decent PC and flip it. And he wouldn't make a ton of profit, but he'd make a little bit. But I haven't seen him list anything in a while now, and I kind of wonder if the price has kind of priced him out of it. I really need some way to just change that bit of the string. That bit of the string. Because I could partial it, and maybe that's the way to do it. Actually, that's exactly how we should do it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We are going to change the generated string here to do something of, because we have this get window content where it does all of this stuff. Wait a minute. Why can I just use the get window content on this? Because this takes in content and outputs other content. Oh, so I've already left myself the hook that I need. Oh, this is easy then. All I need to do is come over here. Continue for a second. Hold still. Sit still for me. Come in here, and I just come in here and I go partial class paste. Oh, I already grabbed the partial class. So I do that, Come over here, move you to your own file. Boom. Come on. And then this guy here, we can just do something like this. And then window, or actually I want to do this in a static constructor, don't I? Because window content is what was it? Get window content. And this goes like this goes like this. Stop it. Stop helping me. All right, so we can just override all of the window content that it's going to use. And what I really want to do is, this is the original string, and I'm just going to change it. So I could bring in I could do something fancy where I use X for something, but I think we're just going to not use it. We'll do that, and we'll just do framework element. And now, I think those other tests should work. Yeah. See, not viable at the moment. Yeah. Did that to my main focus for many years. I've been a support and fixing PC, but people just got hard to deal with. So now I'm just coding. Yeah, I can totally understand that. I can totally understand that. Like it's one of those things. For a long time, I thought I wanted to go in and be like work in IT, but I don't know that I would enjoy. Like, I enjoy parts of of being like an IT tech, but there's a lot of it that I don't enjoy. So, okay, that handles 36 of the errors. Okay, so these ones are all going to be same failures. Yes. So Keep going. Get clip. Get desired size. There's animated properties. I'm tempted to also make my life a little easier by changing the name of these tests to include the class name in them, just so I don't have to go hunt that down. Like I can figure it out by looking at this, but it seems like it might be nicer just to put it in the test method name as well. Maybe that's overkill. I'm really just checking and looking at which, as long as I keep seeing UI element right here, I'm just skipping because we just fixed all those. Well, we may be close to the end considering there was, what, 39 of those? Figure 2 failed messages per 39. That's 70 something, and then we already fixed the other two. Dependency object generator. So this one's probably almost the exact same issue. So that guy doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I used to build computers and laptops, managed to get a good laptop once for spares, and turned out it just needed a good clean out. See, I would love to find one of those. My best one at one point is there's I don't know if it's popular elsewhere in the world, but there is a site called Craigslist here in the US where people can just list and sell things. And I had found I'm guessing he was early 20s. But the guy was selling an Alienware laptop, and this was like Alienwares were the bomb. This was many years back, but he didn't know what he had. He's like, yeah, I don't use computers much. I think he was going to school to be a mechanic or something. He's like, I don't use computers much. I'm just trying to unload it. It was given as a gift to me, and he wanted only a few $100 for it. Oh, I felt like I stole that thing from him. He was kind of flaky to get him to meet up with me, but once he did, I was tickled because I expected to sit down with the machine and there'd be something majorly wrong with it, and it was awesome. Yeah, enjoyed it for many years, but people think you can do magic, and they turn now and it ready in 10 minutes, and if anything goes wrong, the next 3 months it's your fault, and they want a new one for free. Yep. And when you do it private, it's just not worth your time. Just do it for friends now. Yeah, and that's kind of the way it's worked out for me. Like I will certainly go and help friends out, and I've got a lot of family members that are not very tech savvy, so I do it for them most of the time because it's easy and because I can't get rid of them even if I wanted to. Yeah. The Izzy opened it up, clogged the fan to meshes, new thermal paste. Total cost was £100. Managed to sell it for $1,500. That was an Alienware one too. Yeah, I will say my Alienware laptop, I love that thing to death. I was once in a motorcycle accident. I was on a motorcycle against a large Ford pickup, an F-150. Pro tip, they hurt. Don't go in front of them on a motorcycle, especially at about 30 miles per hour. It will hurt. It will break your leg, and you'll probably dislocate your shoulder and have major lacerations on your feet, hypothetically. But my Alienware made it through with just a small chip on the corner because it was in a backpack on my back at the time, and it 100% survived, and I used it for 3-4 years after that. So, like I will say, Alienware was expensive, but at least back in the day, they made some good stuff. They absolutely made some good stuff. Okay, so this guy here is going to be the same doohickey. Is we just need to hijack the return, and then that is not what we want to do. I want to grab. Well, that's pretty close actually, but it's not quite what I want. Nope. So I want this guy here. Ring ding. And then I want you to be framework element as well. And then and then we'll put you in your own class. Boom. And then that should fix that one. I expect you to pass now. Go green. At least now I have tests over all my things. Oh, Society Doc, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I may take you up on that. Like, I know enough to be dangerous, but I would not consider myself a hardware expert by any means. Like, I've built my PCs a handful of times, and I'm good enough to be dangerous, but not good enough to be a pro. Morning. What do ER doctors and nurses call motorcyclists? Oh boy, I know what I got called. There was idiot. Uh, I'm trying to remember. They had some pun that involved the word road rash. Organ donors. You're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong. Yeah. I think without fail, every medical professional I ran into while after my motorcycle accident used some form of "you're an idiot." Okay. Okay, so that should fix it. Okay, let's see if this does it. That in theory hits all the tests. Okay, commit, send it. Then we'll let this guy go, and then hopefully this puts the XAML test changes to bed. Should be cool. Should absolutely be cool. Why do I have 7 pull requests? Oh, yeah, the dependent bot ones. Okay, I was like, holy crap. Da, da, da. There. So we'll let you chug for a minute. Okay. While that guy's going, I may jump over here and take a brief look at some AutoMocker stuff. So my AutoMocker library, I have been slowly adding things to. And if anybody is using it, I feel the urge to show this off. So underneath docs, because I started writing up documentation for this, is I have source generators that I am leveraging for the purpose of generating out additional code, right? And so the unit test one is mostly there as a way to mock people who have minimum requirements for code coverage. But the actual interesting ones are things like the iOptions stuff. Because what the source generator does is it watches for when you use the AutoMocker library in a test project that also references extension options. And so if it sees that reference, it will generate out the with options extension method inside your unit test. So it's a way of me adding extra functionality to AutoMocker, but conditionally adding it so that I don't have to build a bunch of dependent NuGet packages. Because normally what people would do is they'd build, derived NuGet packages that take a dependency on the AutoMocker base library and a dependency on the options library. And I'm like, that's stupid. So unfortunately, it makes my life harder because I have to build a source generator rather than just a new CS proj. But I think it's a lot cleaner, in my opinion. And it goes through. There's also, if you don't like the generators, you can just turn them off. Like there's MS build switches. I turn them on by default. I argued with myself for a long time about what the proper default should be, and decided that if they were off by default, no one would ever find them or use them. And figured that having them on by default, and it did cause a handful of issues to get logged. I kind of suspected it would bite me, but it ended up being a good thing to do, I think, in my opinion. So there's support for logging, keyed services, options, and application insights. And the one that I'm currently working on is HTTP client as well, because I want, like, having built-in support for being able to deal with HTTP client. Like, there's all these types that everybody just kind of wants anyway. And so, thanks, Society Dog. Have a good day at work, mate. I appreciate all the information, and like I said, I may end up hitting you up depending on what I do with hardware just to get a second set of eyes. So I do have a, where is it? I think I had it open. Yeah. So I do have this HTTP client one on here, and it is largely based on the, like, I heavily poached design from this other library, from the mock contribs library. But this guy hasn't been touched in 4 years, and I wanted updates for it, and I needed extra stuff. And so like this is oftentimes one of the tools that I reach for when I want to be able to do things. But yeah, there was just a handful of things where I wanted these things to be a little bit cleaner. But it has basically the mock type interface that I think is mostly what people expect, right? If I want to set up something for an HTTP request, or have nice overloads for just passing in a URI or a string and say, hey, if this gets called, here's the response. Don't think too hard. Just send this back, right? And so all it does is inject an HTTP handler inside of the HTTP client that just short circuits and sends things back. That way you can go through and test it. And you could, in theory, also leverage it to trigger like poly retries or otherwise, right? Depending on how you want to go through and leverage it. So that isn't bad there. And I kind of like it, especially for situations like this, because it's like oftentimes people mock away their HTTP client, and I just don't like that. It doesn't feel good to me because HTTP client is already kind of an abstraction. So it's like yeah. So I very heavily leached API and similar from it. Uh-oh. We just failed again? I think we just failed again. Well, the good news is the test passed. So that's a good sign. Let's see. The icon file, icon PNG, does not exist in the package. What? What did I do? How did I break that? I don't. Huh? Did I? What did I do? Right? Images, icon. Wait, hold up. That's not the same file name. The name icon PNG. Where did he get icon PNG for the package? Oh, is that in my directory build props? Icon PNG. Oh, I bet you I probably applied my. I bet you I copied in stuff from my template. Is probably what I did, which was brilliant and horrible all at the same time. So so I guess the question is, where is my icon? Because I know I have an icon. Pop this. I don't see it. It must be here. Okay, so it's not icon. So 1, it's capital I. And 2, it is from the CS proj, because I'm going to be coming from here. I need to go up 1 and down into images. So I need something like .whack images there. And that should get me to the right one. I am tempted to let AI gen me a new image. Like I did this one time and it feels very busy. It feels like I want something cleaner. Maybe me and Copilot will have a little chat one day and we'll figure out coming up with a better image. But for now, that is not the objective. It's not the objective. Scope creep, scope creep, scope creep. We're just trying to get things updated. Let's see. Ender XY pick on Discord, just awaiting the extra kit parts to make it a triple Z bed leveling version. Ooh, that's cool. You say on Discord. Where? You hit send? Because I don't see it in our chat, Izzy. Okay. That gets me to there. That gets me to there. I may pop over here, and while that thing's running, we may play around a little bit with the AutoMocker library while we get this other guy rocking and rolling. Or actually, you know what we could do instead? There was a PR I approved on material design that failed, and I don't like this because this was a very simple change and the pull request failed, and I'm not okay with this. So one of these tests is flaky, and I want to know which one. At some point, one of my colleagues, Ben, built a really nice library that will read the failures. Whoa. XAML parse, set property, system windows, resource dictionary, deferrable content, through an exception. What? That's a little surprising. Oh, there I see pictures, Izzy. That is sick. Triple Z-bed level. That's a pretty... Because that's an Ender 3 Pro, isn't it? Yeah, they just showed up for me. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Let me grab this guy. Because the other thing I wanted to do is on the material design project. Well, I want to update it to the SLNX format, but I'm also a little hesitant because it requires the new SDK, and we've still got that SDK bug that we haven't solved yet. Okay, so let's go here. I want to grab, let's see, material design. I want to grab that PR. Pull request. Let me get me out of the way so I'm not in the problem. And then I want this. Let's see, add remote and checkout. That should get me there, and then okay. So which test exactly is this that failed out on me? Uh, ba ba ba. Color picker test, huh? Surprise color picker test gave problems. Wait. Oh, wait, which one is this? This isn't even the UI test. This is just the base test. What? Really? That really surprises me. You're telling me these tests failed because somebody added a style. Yeah, an original Ender 3 Pro, yes, donated by someone at work who couldn't figure out how to level the bed and gave up on it to buy a bamboo. I will say, my Ender 3 Pro, I very much got close to doing the same thing with. I was so frustrated with that machine. I've often told people that you should buy an Ender 3 if you enjoy tinkering, because there is infinite stuff you can do with an Ender 3. Like, there is upgrades, and you can print out half of them, and there's always something more you can do to the thing. They are, I don't know what their good, what a good comparable thing is to them, of something where there is just so much aftermarket and third party stuff out there for them. Ridiculous. I remember when I first saw how much stuff, because I thought people were joking when it's like you get an Ender 3 and the first thing you print is add-ons for your Ender 3. Like, obviously. And I thought they were joking. And then I looked and I was like, no, that's not a joke. That's legit. Let's see. 4 minutes ago. Did you fail again? Pack does not exist in the package. What? Oh, because it's not being brought in. What did I do wrong on this PR? What did I change on the... What did I change on this guy? Boron. Izzy, I don't know what that word means. What is Voron? See, so analyzer checks. We'll deal with those warnings in a minute. Don't care about the analyzer. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. I do care about this. Debug type embedded. Oh, I want to get rid of that. Demo test generator. I do not want that change in there. Let's see. We do want those. I'm fine with those. Fine with those. Or on it. Oh. Got it. Thank you, Izzy. And I left the get element test change in like an idiot. Okay. Let's do that. Get that out of there. That's fine. That's fine. We did that. We dealt with the message. Fix some changes in there. Those are all fine. Those are all fine. Great, great, great. Great. That's what I needed. Has count. A lot of these are just cleaning up. Let's see. Generally come as kits and take about 40 hours to assemble. Just don't forget you need some 3D printed parts for it too. So you need 3D printed parts to assemble the thing to make the 3D printed parts. So you better have a buddy or somebody else with a 3D printer to be able to manufacture those ahead of time, which is awesome on a number of levels. Okay, those go there. That's there. Property. Those are all the stuff we just added. Great. See screen. This is a lot of updates for the new syntax where we just cleaned up the typecasting. Great, great, great. That's all fine. The visual element, find element, whitespace change. We added the new convert, the type change, fix the exception message. Great. I'm good with all of that. That semaphore singleton app lock. I killed the code on a prior merge, but apparently never killed the semaphore. So that was just a warning sitting around there. This guy here was setting up to test the warning that I wanted to make sure triggered generate helpers attribute. I want to go kill that off. Generate helpers attribute, because that guy needs to not live there. This was just here to prove a point. That'll be fine. Using cleanup. Interface edition. Collections. Great. Great, great. See, this one here. So from this PR, it was always icon.png. Have I really been? No, there's no way I've been botching this whole time, right? Like, there's no way. There's no way. Yeah, it has an icon. How is that working if this thing's looking for icon.png? And that's like, do I have something else in my props that I changed? Like, did I forget to include something somewhere? I think I did. I mean, the slashes shouldn't be making a difference here. I don't believe these are relative to the directory build props, but maybe they are. I mean, so here's the simple test, right? Let's just take the terminal and let's just test if let's just test the exact same command that's attempted to be run on the pipeline, and that will be fairly conclusive evidence one way or the other. I go here, I go here, go here, go into the build. Okay, so it's attempting to do a .NET pack, and it's trying to do it in the no build. So we're going to leave, or I should say leave. We're going to take the no build off because I want it to actually compile because I don't think I have a release one. Okay, so I need to deal with the two XAML test analyzer bits, which is fine. We can go through and do this. Okay, icon file doesn't exist. Okay, well, at least it's reproducing nicely. So is this thing relative to directory build.props? Let's see if it is. The icon file does not exist in the package. Oh, I bet you this is the newer SDK flagging it and why it. Oh, because in order to put it in, oh, I know what the grumble. In my template. In the template that I have, library, because my package is props, not packages, build props. NuGet icon PNG. But I believe NuGet icon PNG, it has to be a file that's being packed as part of your library. And this is what's missing. Because if you don't pack the thing into your library, it no worky. So this is actually what I am missing inside of this. So what I need here is I need to put in, nope, I want the, I think I still want this. Here. I don't think I want this. Now this guy shows up inside of here. I can verify that the file path matches. Great. And now I bet you it builds. Or packs. Because there was a change somewhere. Let's see. That's a /. Did I not change it? Oh, I didn't hit save on this one. And I think this just becomes icon because I believe package icon is relative to the NuGet package. And because we are packing this into just the root of the NuGet package, I believe that's what it's going to be looking for. We'll know in a minute. Okay, build succeeded. Let's see here. So let's do, so that fixes that problem. And then is part of the next unshipped analyzers, but is not a supported. So let's go deal with this guy too. Hold on, what is this telling me? It's part of the next unshipped analyzer release, but is not a supported diagnostic for any analyzer. What do you mean it's not supported diagnostic for any analyzer? Yes, it is. Great. tracking, blah, blah, blah. Does that, does that. I get all of that, but how do it know that it's not part of any analyzer? Have I not implemented it properly? Is this one here? Like it's right there. Hey, Copilot. This generator. I seen these warnings. I have both of the diagnostics implemented here. Okay, Copilot, do it. Impress me. Impress me, Copilot. I wanna see something exciting. Show it to me. Let's see. The issue is that you have an incremental generator, not a diagnostic analyzer. Oh, but the Roslyn release tracking analyzer expect diagnostic rules to be declared, and diagnostic analyzers supported diagnostics. That declares these diagnostics. Okay. Create a simple diagnostics analyzer and registers these. What did you just create? Ah. So because my generator is pushing these things out, it doesn't know about them. Interesting. Okay, are you done, Copilot, or are you still thinking? Okay, so you made those internal and then intentionally just slapped them into that. All right, to internal. Yeah, sure, fine. Okay. We'll clean this up a little bit. Use collection expressions because that's better. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. And then let's confirm that we actually see those things go away. And then it should just work. At least that's the hope. That is the hope. What a shock, Copilot. You're a freaking idiot. There's no supported diagnostic. Why do I need these things again? So, trying to remember what the point of having to put these things in was, because I don't really want them. I think it was that guy that was forcing me to do it. And then I'm going to delete you. I'm trying to remember why I needed the other stuff. I don't think I need it. Don't think I need it. Checking to make sure none of those things are there. Again, the target audience for this is very small, so I'm kind of okay with things being a little more specific to me. Okay. Show me. What I want to see is green succeeded ×2. That'd be great. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so cleaned up the duplicate there. Fixed the NuGet image bits there. Got rid of bad file. Got rid of bad file. Drop the debug, clean those off. Got rid of worthless tests. Fix the directory build props. Bippity boppity booyah. Actually, I probably don't want to do this. Kind of want to just compose commits. Do I have that option here? How do I don't want to explain working tree changes, but I kind of want to use the compose commits. Oh, there we are. Oh, why I just can't see the big obvious button. Maybe check the page that has an icon. All right, JC, which one was that referring to? Me getting lost on my not being able to find the big obvious button that's right in my face. Oh, and if you don't stage, it doesn't know what it's composing to. Oh, the pat command. Yeah, well, that's the thing is this package does in fact have an icon. Like the version that's out there now does have the icon set. I think what happened is that I am subtly using the newer SDK because I'm not constraining it with a global.json. At least I don't believe I am. Oh, I do have a global JSON. But I'm not constraining the version, so it's perfectly happy to pick up my latest .NET 10 one. And I think the check for the NuGet icon being inside of the package is a new analysis. Why are you failing to compose commits? Not that much here. Back in. This is not a hard amount of data. Like, I want you to break up these commits for me. There we go. Thank you. I don't know what you were struggling about. Okay. Remove get parent working test. Do that one first. Remove analyzer tracking files. Work. Move embedded debug type. Let's just squash that into the other one. Move duplicate generator. Yep, that should probably be its own commit. And then fixing up the icon bits. See, recompose is wonderful. And now rather than one commit, I've got a string of commits. And it looks like I did all of them nice and pretty like, and no one needs to realize that I didn't. Thank you, Kraken. Okay, that I think should get that PR all the way through. Okay, color picker test. I want to group. Well, I want to grab it on this so that I know. Just gonna put you over here for a moment so I can keep a close eye on you. So these tests pass locally for me, which concerns me that they failed on the pipeline at least once. Color picker test. The given key resources was not present in the dictionary. Yeah, this concerns me because it makes me suspect that either something changed on the pipeline, very possible. I am tempted to just kick it again. Attempt number 1, latest attempt, rerun. Oh yeah, sure, rerun all. Because this guy should be going through. There's no reason he shouldn't. I don't understand why that one failed. I do want to double check my, go here, .NET dash. So I think 1.02 may have the WPF fix in it. So I may want to go back and briefly look at this because I think that one is, I think the fix is in there. Let me go back here and grab my PR. Let's see. Check out origin. And then let's drag you up. We're going to rebase you. Come on. Where's I've lost master. There it is. Rebase. Do the thing. Okay. Take V6. Let's see. Get V6, and I think this still has net 9 here, so we might need to double check that. Let's see, 6, 6. Okay, so we'll do that. Can you rebase? Okay, so that gets me to there. You can see, has been modified, discard. Yeah, so I understand. You were unhappy. I've changed. I moved your cheese. Okay, because did I did go SLNX on this one. Did do it. Good. Ask Kevin knew what he was talking about. And then we are going to bump this sucker up because I think 1.02 will fix this. Let's load this and see if we actually build properly. And look at that. It updated. It's working. It's working. Then that auto merged and went out the door. And the master build is running now. And then it will go. Yay. Okay. What is your problem? I immediately don't trust you. I immediately don't trust you. Because that only has an SLNX on the end. That only has an X on the end. And that has an X on the end. So I'm not real concerned about any of those. Okay. Okay. So what I want to change, though, is here. 1.0, 102, which is why I was checking what version. Let's see. .NET -- list case 1.0.102, because I think that's the kicker for making sure that this guy has what he needs. And then build artifacts. It's just 10x, but I think that's fine. Yeah, so let's just push this and see. I think this will actually get the net 10 stuff working. I'll be very curious to see what this does because they did find and fix the WPF issue that I got bit by right on release, and I think it made it out in this 102. I don't know for certain, but we will know more in a moment. While that guy is going, as soon as XAML test gets published, I'd like to pull it in. Though actually, I'm realizing, do I have trusted publishing enabled? So something NuGet added, somewhat recently. Let's see. Upload, push NuGet. NuGet push, source. No, I'm still using the API key approach. So there is a cool thing called trusted publishing, kind of like federated credentials. You're familiar with that from like GitHub Actions. think it's here. So down here, where is the? I turned it on for. Not crazy. I did turn it on, didn't I? Added it to my template. Did not. Did I not put it in the props? Did I put it in the CS proj? Where did I put this? No, it should have been in the props. On main. Do. Main. What? I did do this, didn't I? Oh, it's got it. Required for trusted publishing. There we go. Got it. Got it. So this guy here, but I still have API key here. Oh, this is correct because it's the output from here. Okay. Let's see. Do you know of an example project that restores WPF data grid sort order on view chain? I don't. I'm trying to think if I have any examples. Because what you're probably looking for is, I assume you've got your data grid. Copilot lost its mind when I asked. Yeah. So what you're probably looking for is iCollection view. Go up here. Let's see here. If I go, because I think I've got a. Here, I believe on my data grid. I should just look for collection view. Oh man, I've only got one instance of collection view, and it's on a combo box sample. That's not a good sign. What you are probably looking to do, because I assume you've potentially already done this already, is have your data grid not necessarily bound to an observable collection, but to a collection view itself, because the collection view allows you to control the sort. For example, down here, where you can, and here, I'll just drop this in the chat. Because this gives you effectively a way of controlling that sort. So when you say reset, or I guess restore data grid sort order, restore to what? Like what the default was or similar? Like I think in most cases, what you are probably looking for is the obvious option is simply going through and clearing the sort descriptions from the collection view that's there. So if you end up binding, because I believe if I go look at the view here, you can bind yourself. In this case, items is the collection view itself, and then once you have the collection view, which you typically get by calling collection view source get default view of your observable collection, this view gives you access to things like sort and filter. That way you can do what you need to. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Is email view got the data grid? Box, data grid. Oh, main. Main view. The header, which I assume is what has it. Data grid. So your phone items, which I assume there's going to be a phone main. View model. Phone items is just an observable collection. So what I would probably tell you to do is create a new property here that's of type iCollectionView. Very similar to effectively very similar to what I did here. So two properties. You still have your observable collection, which is the thing you mutate. Line 30. Oh, you do have a list collection view. Hang on. List collection view. Filter. Do you sort descriptor to list? So you pull out the sort descriptors, but I don't see, because I somewhat suspect that to restore the sort, you would end up just clearing the sort descriptors. And that would get you back to whatever the default was, which effectively should be the same order as whatever's in your observable collection. Is that not? Because again, I would assume you can just clear this sort descriptors collection and it just works. Or I shouldn't say just worked. It then goes back to the default. Oh, I want it to save and restore. Oh, got it. That's what you mean by restore. Oh. That's a good question. Hey, cutie, welcome in. Let's see. Collection view. So one, I don't know of one, but I want to check something on the sort descriptors. Because it's just the struct. It is coming along great. The source generator that we were fighting on last time, we just got that PR merged, and hopefully a NuGet package gets published shortly. Yeah, line 325 is my attempt. 325 report. Current sorts. This takes it in. Current sorts comes from. Is you grab the current sorts, do a bunch of stuff that I assume is going to tweak it. And then we come down here. Do a check access. You can probably just go straight invoke because I think it's short circuits if it already has access, but that's not likely your problem. And then filter view sort descriptions add and puts them all back. What is the end result of this, JC? Does this, so something along this lines is roughly what I was about to tell you to do. The iCollection view I was going to say it just restores the default sort order. So it doesn't maintain whatever sort order you had in there. I am wondering a little bit if you might need a defer refresh on there. So defer refresh is just a disposable on there where you would end up wrapping. I just realized I don't invoke it on a view change. Oh, not invoking it would do it as well, because you may end up wanting to do a filter view dot defer refresh inside of a using block. That way, as you're making all the changes to it, it's not trying to refresh on each individual change. It just does it once at the very end. But I wouldn't expect that to make a difference between it working or not. I would just expect that to maybe make it smoother and faster, because going through and doing the clear obviously is going to trigger one set of changes, and then every time you add a sort descriptor, it has to go through and reevaluate. But again, that's what, 3 passes maybe versus 1. Like, it'll probably be more efficient to do the defer refresh, but I wouldn't expect it to change whether it works or not. But yeah. I'll plug this again for those people who have missed it. But if anybody is interested, I did record my interview with Mads Torgensen, the lead designer on the C# team for Microsoft this week. The video is coming out on YouTube this weekend, but if anybody wants to go watch it early, I left a link to it in my events channel on my Discord. So if you wanna grab it early, you can certainly go watch it early. So otherwise, it'll go public Sunday, this weekend before Monday. Let's see, 332. Let's see. So I can just do line 332 and a delete check. Yeah, because I don't think you need the check access. I believe invoke async. I can double check this. Because check access is actually one that they try to hide from you. It's here. Where I think it's actually on these docs. One of these. Access whether the calling thread has access and verify access throws an exception. Where was it? One of these, but yeah, I believe you can just call invoke or invoke async directly on the dispatcher, and it will end up short circuiting. In this case, it's probably better to just do a straight invoke rather than an invoke async, because I imagine it'll be slightly faster, but I guess it depends a little bit on the context and where this is called. So. Yeah. But yeah, let me know if that doesn't get it going, JC, and we can pull it down and take a look at it. But I think it should, because in general, all it takes is be my rubber duck. Quack. Always happy to be a duck. Always happy to be a duck. Okay, there's that. We just pushed the material design stuff, right? I did push it. Yes, I did push it. So I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. Got too much stuff open. I got to quit opening things. Too many tabs. Okay, this guy waiting for status to be reported. Well, it didn't die immediately. Oh, it did die. Error parsing. What? Error in your YAML syntax at line 28. What the heck? What did I do? That was build artifact, right? Yeah, build artifact line 28. I'm willing to bet it was Whitespace, and it hates me. Yeah, that looks very wrong. Dang Nabu. Copilot, I'm not happy with you right now. Because I need to. Interesting. It shows that it was the same there. It wasn't broken on that. Must have been another change that touched it. Ah, there is the one that did it. Look at all that white. So generally I enjoy running without white space on because it's like, that's what I want to see. In this case, I should know better. It's a YAML file. Do not assume it's not going to muck with your stuff. Copilot. Grumble, 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 grumble. Okay, we're going to do this in code. We are going to do this in code so that I get the nice cleanup. Okay. So actually, you know what? Do I trust Copilot? Fix the white space problems here. Go. Earn your keep real quick for me, would you? Look at all that. Publish. Yeah. Oh, I changed tabs before it actually picked up the ref. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, it's a good thing I changed to another tab that needs the problem. It uses mixed tabs and spaces. Oh. Should use 2-space indentation. Let me fix all the inconsistent white space. Please do, and please don't screw it up again. That's all I'm asking. Okay. And then you're going to go do the other one. Now do the build artifacts file. Come on. Hurry up, Copilot. I don't have all day. I just need the white space fixed. Okay, well, we're going to have a race. See if I can fix this before it can. Okay, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There. There. Copilot, you're losing. Doesn't that make you angry, Copilot? Doesn't that make you want to actually, like, compete and try to beat me? Screwed it up so badly. Here we go. Fixed. I replaced all the inconsistent ones. Keep. Did you do it right? Now is the question. Let's see. Those errors look out of line and incorrect. Close and reopen because I don't think it's picked up the changes. Explicit keys need to be on a single line, line 51. What? That error doesn't even make sense in that line. Explicit keys need to be on a single line. Copilot, I can only assume that you botched this. So that basically looks like the set of changes I would expect. A lot of leading white spaces, a lot of things unindented properly. That feels good to me. Okay. Rinse, repeat, try again. Despite the fact that VS Code seems to hate it for some reason. Doesn't want to refresh itself. Great. Do that, try again. Okay. Go back here. Verify it actually starts this time. Okay, well, this is better. It was able to read the YAML file and start running. So, okay, that's better. Okay, close, 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 close. Did this thing deploy? It did. Okay, wonderful. That should have pushed out a NuGet package, right? Push NuGet. Yay, 131 CI 660. Woot woot. Okay. Now what I would like to do is I would like to take and rev up to that. Because if you're not revving everything, are you really even doing it? Let that guy go for a minute. And then I want to include pre-release. Oh, wow. A lot of updates. What do I have updates for? I got a lot of updates. Don't I have Dependabot running? Do I not have Dependabot on this thing? These are my own libraries. Okay. I mean, we're gonna take all these things. Oh wow, because this is the T unit change. Holy vey. Holy vey. Right. Aha. So 131. Maybe we don't take all of these immediately on site. I want these, but I don't want them all that badly, and maybe I should rev these things independently of the branch that I'm currently on so that I don't make my life harder than it needs to be. Let's do that. That seems more prudent. Let's think that seems a lot more prudent. Yeah, yeah. Shut up. I hear you. Go away. Okay, manage NuGet packages. Because we are on ye olde version of T-Unit. Holy vey, no wonder we're having problems. I don't even have the 1.0 release. Okay, so we're going to grab all of this except for XAML test. We're going to do that guy independently. And we're going to say, give me all the things. Because there are major version revs on these things. That's very exciting. Why did I think... Do I really not have Dependabot running on this repository? I sworn I did. Yeah, there's Dependabot. Why don't I have a mess of Dependabot PRs? Huh? Am I crazy or stupid? Dependabot updates. Ran January 25th. 5 days ago. Is it? Why did you not find all of these updates? I'm confused, Dependabot. Why did you not find all of the updates you were supposed to have found? Because you checked all of the GitHub actions. It's fine. I approve of that. But why didn't you check the NuGet packages? Because this was 7 days before. Unless I'm crazy, you're supposed to do both. Right? That's what we just saw? Yeah. Let's see. GitHub. Location of the package manifest. Lots of errors in update to net 10. Oh. Killing me. You're killing me. Oh. Cannot create unknown type. Bundled theme. Well, at least this is... On a positive note, my tests are doing their job. On a negative note, it's not working. Specifically, like what? Huh? That looks to me like I'm using a toString method and I'm getting something that I very much don't expect. Like I'm wondering if I'm leveraging a toString method here, and because that obviously is not a valid type. That's a curly brace, a URL, and then a class name, which shockingly is an invalid type. That's less good. And then you didn't update properly. Multiple versions installed. How are you even able to have multiple versions installed? It shouldn't be possible for you to have multiple tools motion polyfill. Like I appreciate the polyfill, but why? Right, like that is. I gotta move these things in order now. This is gonna bother me. Let's see, LMNOP system. Microsoft B comes before C, just to make those things go. Don't understand why that thing thinks it is not at 977. Operation not valid due to the current state of an object. That sounds like NuGet lost its mind and threw up its hands and gave up. I'm getting a little frustrated with the NuGet package. Okay. We're going to come back to this in a moment. Let's stash you for this for the second. I think the Net 10 one had a bunch of NuGet updates in there anyway. Let's grab this. And then we're going to just go grab this test here. Yeah, reload. Figure yourself out. Oh, I bet you it's because I had switched back and forth between branches that had the SLNX, which is what I have open. Bet you that's part of the issue. Okay, simple, easy test. Okay, restore the packages, do the things, make it happen. This should work. I think. Come on. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. You can run. It'll be okay. I promise. A test failure is not the end of the world. I won't yell at you this time if you do it right. But I may throw things. Okay. Come on. We're working way too hard on this compilation. So it does look like we've got some dependency problems I gotta go resolve. Okay. So that guy blows up. Great. That's exciting. Let's see. What do we got going down here? Unknown type. All of this stuff initialized with material design. So, where are you getting bundled theme and it's unhappy about it? Well, we got this is a very so we've got past the compilation, but now we've got something very, very different. because it's declared there. Well, let's step into this because I don't know where this thing is breaking, but I can only conclude that it's got to be the new compiler or the new runtime, I guess. I don't want to, let's not eliminate too many choices. So 10.0.2 is already there. Great. Great. That landed there. Okay. So now we go in, we go in, we go here, we go here, we go here. And you should be what I expect, right? That looks like what I would expect to see for a material design application. Great. I go initialize. Cannot create unknown type. So app initialized fails to create an unknown type. What is your target framework? You are Net 10 Windows. The thing is, I think I have a XAML test specifically for this. Guess I don't. Guess I don't. Because this here is the app initialize. All the 8 and 9 tests pass. Of course they did. Ay, ay, ay. Microsoft. That's frustrating. That is very, very frustrating. So what did you change, guys? Like, how? Because this is iApp initialize. So this is going to be app test here. Do I have a test? Initialize with defaults. Let's see here. Because I do have one of those. But I do not have one that loads up a custom type. Initialize with resources, but this doesn't do a custom type either. Because it's just doing window. Let's see. We can clean this up for it to raw string. There we go. Make it look a little prettier. Let's see here. And then this will become, do this, do that. There we go. Because that's just creating a window in a window with a user control. There's nothing in here that's referencing an external type. Because when we go through and do this call, we pass in a set of assemblies. Sorry, I should be yawning. Or Mountain Dew. Nope, that's the wrong one. Of course, when in doubt, you always pick the wrong one. Okay, so this guy here comes in, grabs the assemblies, puts them in the string, and sends them across, which then goes over to here, which goes over to, it's probably going to be in host Visual Service. So assemblies to load comes in, we iterate over them. If it's not null, we call assembly load from. And then we tack it into here. Loaded assemblies. Find all references. And then this really just comes to, I'm making the assumption that current domain assembly resolves finds it. XAML, where is that stack trace? Come on. I want the stack trace. Show it to me. Show me the stack trace. There you go. Yeah, WPF XAML loader. I think XAML reader is probably, because it's the load XAML. Visual Tree Service load XAML. Let's go there first of all. But I think this guy. So he comes in here and he makes the assumption that when he calls this guy, the fact that I've called assembly.load puts it in memory and then I can use it. Because this context, I don't believe, gives me access to any of that stuff. Obsolete APIs. Oh no, you're about to ruin my day, aren't you? See. Let's see. I don't know that any of these are. I don't know that any of these ones are the ones directly affecting me. But you do make a good point, and now I'm kind of wanting to scan through these real quick. There's clearly a break with net 10. What about WPF? Let's see here. So we've got empty and row definitions. Application that used dynamic resource incorrectly now crash at runtime. That's exciting. That is very exciting. So don't mix and match your types. Got it. Is already a bad idea. I do wonder though if there has been a change around XAML type mapper. Add mapping process instruction. And I'm wondering if it's something of this nature. Because we do get one of these suckers, and I'm wondering if this is what's biting me. Is it wants the mapping instructions known ahead of time? Let me go here and let's just briefly GitHub WPF. Let's just briefly take a quick gander. knowing that this is the API in question. Issues 6. No, I need something that's resembling within a handful of years ago. Shows an exception. We're running on 9 though. Issue's been fixed in July 20th, 2024. What was changed here? Because I am wondering if presentation favorite content property value. This doesn't look. This does not look related. This does not look related. I am a little curious if this thing would trigger for me. Because we are making the sweeping assumption in all of this code that when we add in an item into the loaded assemblies, that we can then catch it here, because it is making the assumption that the assembly resolve fires and that this thing matches and that we find it, load it, and return it. So the question is are we getting here? I am very tempted to try to debug into this. Because I believe I've got symbols available to me. We're going to grab it here. We're going to go Tools, Options, Debugger. Where's just my code? Off. There we go. Stop. Come back. Re-debug the test. And we're going to try to step into that and see exactly where that goes. It's a little difficult because it is going across to a different process, but we should be attaching to that process still. I guess I should validate that with 2026. I don't know that I've actually validated that. Let's see. So F5 in. Okay. Let's go. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Still not that one. Urinary call. Okay, so this gets me into here. But is allowing me to land here. Can I put a breakpoint and just catch it there then? I wonder if I actually came across here. They're communicating with host process. Fine for the moment. I'm not going to stress about it too much yet. Turn you off. F5, F5. Wrap exception. Unknown type. This is all the way down in XAML reader. Makes me suspect I can back myself up to here. Put a breakpoint there. Then more importantly, scroll down and find wherever the heck this is. Put a breakpoint there. Continue. stop. And then let's debug one more time, because now I've got breakpoints where I want to be in the visual tree service. In theory, I can F5 my way to victory. No. Did I not put... Do I bypass this breakpoint completely? That's kind of obnoxious. Hey, Kilobyte808, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Trying to debug a very obnoxious issue here. Let me do one more thing. I want to look and see when I'm debugging this if I'm actually getting symbols or if it's doing decompiled sources. Oh, actually, I should check and confirm that it's actually... No, it has to be hooking all the way across to the other process. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be getting into XAML Reader. Let's see. Debug, Windows, modules, and then XAML test. Symbol loading disabled by include exclude setting. What? Load. Okay. I don't know what include exclude setting it was doing. Symbol settings. There. Okay. That's fine. Now we're going to F5 this again. Okay, now at least we're hitting our breakpoints over here. So the assumption now is that I should hit this breakpoint right after this one. So somewhere between here and here, I should get this call back. Okay, so we are getting this call. Loaded assemblies, we've got those ones there. Great. That's kind of what we expect. And we are looking for system runtime 10. Shouldn't be one of ours. So next, kind of expect this to hit a handful of times. So, okay, that's just system runtime. System runtime, system runtime. Okay. So it never once asked for anything other than system runtime, at least in the current domain assembly resolve. Why is that the case? XAML test. Oh, I guess in this version of XAML test, it's not running net 10, is it? Because this is running the version of XAML test that launches as a net 9, which is probably why it doesn't have the net. Oh, okay. Okay. I need to update the NuGet package here. Just do this. This is a bug before. LMNO. There. I need XAML test to be on its latest preview, which was the one we literally posted earlier tonight. So I need the version number to be 131 CI 660. because I need the net10 version to be able to use it in a net10 project. Because then it shouldn't ask for the 10 runtime because it's already running as a net10 app. Okay, that probably makes me feel warm and fuzzy again. Rebuild the test project, and then we'll try this one more time. Because I'm guessing the rough number of errors was, I don't know, around 10,000 or 1,080, give or take. That's my theory. Delegation of task. I love the screen name, by the way. I'm hoping that's a .NET joke because it's really funny if it is. Welcome to the stream. Come on, compile. You can do it. You can do it. Go, little one. Okay. Detected package downgrade. What's is it complaining about? XAML test wants system command line 202. This thing does not have 202. Okay, fine. We can do that. System command line 202, which for people who haven't seen it, system command line did go GA. So love it. Okay, so now rebuild again. Come on. Just want to see all the tests pass. I want to see all the tests pass. Yeah, because we only run the UI test against a single framework because it's kind of pointless to run it against multiple. Like, I've not once had a UI test that if I had run it against all the frameworks would have caught a bug. So I just don't because they're slow and that would take a lot of extra time. I'm sure at some point, it does technically leave a blind spot, but it's not a blind spot that realistically bites me at all. Okay, so this is now system command line changes. So we can do this. This I've now done a handful of times, so this one won't bother me too much. Let's see. So get default value is not in the constructor anymore, and it's called default value factory, and it looks like that. So that goes like that, that goes like that. And I think description is out of the, yeah, I think description is no longer in the constructor either. So it moves down. Oh, not a big deal. They go like that, and then this becomes name aliases. So we actually don't even need to do that. We can just do that. Okay. So that makes life a little bit easier there. A little bit cleaner there. There. Do that. Okay, and then this is default value factory. Goes like that. Put description on top, I think, for reasons. Get rid of the parens there. Becomes a comma. That goes away. Let's see. This needs to be like that. Just like that. Great. Great. Okay. Goes like that. Goes like that. Stop it. Quit helping me. Okay. Goes like there. Def. Oh, you're right. Okay. Alphabetically. My default thing was like, no, description's more important. But yeah, you're right. Alphabetically, I should probably do it that way. We'll say, JC, you have an absolutely amazing eagle eye for all of my mistakes. And I believe this is just get value now. Goes like that. And then I just need the comma there. Don't technically need one there, so we'll just clean them all off. There, and we got that. Don't need the using statement anymore. We're off to the races. Yeah, so anybody who was following System Command Line's adventure to GA, they ended up kind of going back from some of the breaking changes that got put in. So there was initially, when there was a big push to try to get it as part of the BCL, there was a huge debate about what should things be named, options really generic, that could cause confusion, and this, that, and the other. And so eventually they just rolled it back and said, you know what, we're going to just release the NuGet package. It won't make it into the BCL. The only reason it's squawking here is because this doesn't match the folder structure. There's just not this file here, we file link into both projects on the demo apps. So it's unhappy that this namespace doesn't match, but that namespace is intentionally done that way because it's used in two different projects just to make it obvious that that's what's going on. So it's okay. A little concerned that this thing didn't get generated from my source generator. What is your problem here? Oh, blue wolf icons. Okay, yeah, I understand. At some point, I'm going to probably go roll my own version of that library that's updated to modern.net. Because I will say, Copilot is actually fairly good if you fork a library and want to just bring something up to modern.net to just turn it loose and say, make it modern for me. Like I see these errors, but the problem with these errors is these are errors of things that should be get selected item. Like these should be wait a minute. Visual element of T. Where T is a selector. That is correct. Let's see. Auto suggest box cannot be used as are you not derived from selector? Oh, look at that. Oh. Do we have oh. Because auto suggest box itself has a dependency property for selected item. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so it's actually landing on the wrong extension method because of this. So this actually needs to be the static call. So this is going to be auto this box extensions. This YAML test. What is the generated ones? I don't see it generating out the extensions, but I would have expected to see auto suggest box here because that is, this guy should absolutely have a attribute. And where did I put them? Did I put them all at the top? Yeah, generate helpers. So this guy should be triggering on generate helpers and auto suggest box. So what did the XAML test? Oh. So I have broken on my publish. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the packages, not analyzer. Hang on. Okay, same problem though. I do not have the analyzer being packaged properly anymore. So it did not generate the extensions needed for this. That's annoying. We're gonna put this in here real quick before I get carried away. But the issue is when I package this guy up, bet you if I go out and look at NuGet.org, it becomes real bloody obvious what I did wrong. Okay. We'll test. All right, so if I go here and I grab this version and this version, and I go open in Package Explorer, and I go open in Package Explorer, and I close and close. And we go load. So you'll note 130, which is the old one, has this nice analyzers and .NET and C# and the XAML test generator. And this one, there's no analyzer package. That is a problem. That is absolutely a problem. And it also doesn't have the build stuff in it either. What the heck? How did I botch so much of this? So the new NuGet package is completely dorked up and only has the lib stuff in it and not everything else. And that will absolutely bite the material design library because now it's not generating the extension methods that are needed for this. And I wonder if I'm going to have a type conflict now that I'm generating more. I might not. Might not, at least not for that one case. So the question really becomes, if I go back and look at XAML test, right? Because this guy merged. What did I stage? Stash for a moment. Right, so this is the commit that did it. So what did I do wrong to break my packaging? Was it... I didn't change it there. I wonder how many releases back it broke, because it may not have been my latest one. I wonder if it was broken here too. Let's look at this one. Because this is 650. So 650 it was fine. It's only in the latest one where it's broken. 660 it's broken, 650 it's fine. Interesting. So why did that... So what changed? What changed inside of each of these? So this project here, I mean, is packable as false, which makes sense. Because I don't want it to pack up as its own NuGet package. I want it to be... I want it to be a dependent library. But I don't have anything in here that... How was I packaging it before? That's the test. That's the unit test generator. So how was I... Oh, like all of this stuff that got deleted. Dang nabbit, Copilot. You freaking... And that's the NuGet package. That's how it... Oh. Copilot! I'm gonna punch you so hard. I completely missed that change, and it completely hosed me. You bloody idiot. Okay. You think that's part of the problem, maybe? Like the fact that it's not including any of these things? Okay. That fixes that. We don't need this anymore. This goes away. We can go back to our directory, build props, and put this back as lowercase icon PNG, because that's what it actually is when we copy the sucker in. because we lowercased it there. Okay. Okay. There's something in here that made it think that that was necessary. Like, is there a hard-coded net9 or something? No, because we use configuration in there. So short version, I'm an idiot. And we are going to, let's see, create branch, fix, NuGet. That sounds great. Go there. I would like to pop these changes in so that I can have those as well. Great, that's fine. Put all that crap back. Got an extra new line in there. I am unhappy that all of the tabs exist in this file now. We absolutely, let's see, must replace them with spaces. Okay, that makes me feel better. Okay, so that looks nicer, that looks nicer, that brings that back. Great. That goes back down to there. Okay, Kraken, impress me. If you get this commit message right, I will be tickled to death. Yeah, sure, fine, close enough. Mostly because it's 12:40 and I'm yawning and I need this to work. Oh, interesting. It didn't do it here. On another one of my computers, it's like it auto triggers this generate title and description for me. And I've got a request into Kraken to understand why. I don't know if it's a me problem or if it's a generic problem. It's very possibly a me problem. Okay, I'm going to auto include this, and then hopefully that gets that guy going and gets that through. Let's see here. That closes, that closes, that closes. Material design, pull request. Include base style for hyperlink. Great. This thing is now good. Squash merge, squash merge. That thing should have been merged. Nikolai, if you're watching, I know I messaged you on Discord, but you can feel free to merge your tab control PR whenever you want. I'm good with it. And then I want to come back and get some of these guys cleaned up, but I think we will save that for a later point. For anybody who joined late, just to let people know, I recorded an interview with Mads Torgensen, the lead designer on the C# team from Microsoft. The video hits my YouTube this weekend. So, sorry, this hand right there. If people are interested, if you want to access it early, check out my Discord and then go to the events channel. There is a link to it there. So if you want to see it early, go there. If you just want to wait, it'll be out this weekend. Can't remember what time it is. It's scheduled to go Saturday or Sunday. So it will come out then and be ready to go. I had a great time doing it. So if people are interested in that kind of more less code, more interview style thing, let me know, because I enjoy doing it. And there's quite a few like Microsoft engineers who, for whatever reason, don't mind talking to me. And so I may poke at more people if that is something that people find interesting. So really appreciate it. Thank you to Mads for coming on, because I wasn't sure if he was going to say yes, and then was very pleasantly surprised, and I always enjoy talking to him. So with that, I will tell everybody happy coding. See you, cutie, and see everyone next week.